folks. If you want terrific comic books, I mean really terrific comic books, by super talented artists from around the world, then don't buy comics that are, frankly, not so good. From lightweight publishers, okay? I mean, why would you do that? You wouldn't do that, right? Starcross Comics publishes tremendous comic books, comics like you've never seen before. Some people are actually saying these are the best comic books they've ever read. And in many cases, some cases, they're saying they're actually better than the best. The staff at Starcross Comics are really fantastic. I've known them a long time. Terrific guys. They believe in different views, one vision, and not fake news. So don't be a loser, okay? Check out Starcross Comics and make comics great again, okay?
Hey guys, thanks for coming to the show today. We got a lot of guests today. So glad they came. We launched Biblical Proportions #2 today, and on Indiegogo. And this campaign has a lot of the creators that I'm glad to call my friends, and a lot of them I invited to the show today. So yeah, we'll be talking about Biblical Proportions #2. We'll be talking about them because it is a creator-heavy project. So they were nice enough to lend their characters to the storyline. And let me start adding some of you guys. Thanks everyone for coming. Maybe I'll add everyone, but then I'll introduce you all, and then I'll ask you guys some questions, and you can feel free to chime in after that. Let me start adding you guys. So first off, we got Evan David. Thanks
Hello.
for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We got Nick Garber. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Coming. Thanks.
No problem. Thanks for the invite.
You bet. And we got Raphael. How you doing?
What's going on, guys?
And I'm going to introduce you guys' projects in a second. Let me just add James. Let's see if we can fit them all in. All right. There we go.
What's up? Thanks. How's
for
everybody
coming.
doing?
Yeah, let me just go through. So Evan David, he's the creator of Black Blossom, Urg the Battler, Outed, Strange Tales from Eternity. He does a lot of other projects, and he actually wrote Biblical Proportions #2.
Right.
And I'll let you talk a little bit about yourself. Let me introduce the other guys real quick. So Nick Garber, he runs Apogee Comics. He does Phantom Hawk, Bengali, Crimson Guardian, and a couple other projects too that you work on.
Solarium Prime, working on Corvid and Sparrow right now.
Right. Yep, that's right.
We got a full bag.
Oh yeah, I know how that is. James, creator of Alpha Red, which everybody knows, and Raphael, he does Atradian Justice. And it's a new project, but he's been cranking them out really fast for a new project. So we're glad to have him. He's also has this character in the book, and yeah, let me just go through. You guys mention anything that I didn't mention, starting with Evan?
Not for my independent work. I think you covered all that.
All right. Nick, you're working on some new stuff as always. You mentioned Solarium Prime just finished, and then you're starting on
Corvid and Sparrow,
yes.
And I'm working on that. And then we got Quickwire #1 that's in production.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Yeah, we finally decided to put a speedster in the Apogee universe. So.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
You gotta show me that, or
and then I can.
Maybe I'll check it out so I'm in the know.
Yeah, I'll send you a message with.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Show you what I'm working on. Window.
Well, he's checking on that. What you got going on, James? You're always doing your live streams with your illustration work.
Yep. Working on Alpha Red number 6, and then trying to work on that YouTube channel. Got the Alpha Red Comic YouTube channel. Weekly draw streams, 8 p.m. on Sunday. That's Eastern time. This week we're going to be doing this Spawn.
Yeah, I saw that
cover.
What day? What day do you do that? What day?
Sunday nights, 8 p.m.
Sunday nights. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really hard to commit to a time.
Yeah.
You know, I could do something like that, and that'll be the day that. So, like, I was setting up another a stream with another YouTuber, and he slated me for Sunday, and I'm like, oh, that's perfect. Oh, wait, and this week I'm doing a convention, so I can't do it. You know, and then next week there'll be something else going on, and it's like really hard to schedule things. So to be able to do a YouTube show every, say, you know, I know Friday's the popular day. A lot of streamers do Friday nights, and it's really hard to get the viewership. I was told by some YouTubers.
Yeah.
So it's like you got to know the whole forecast on who's broadcasting when you are, so you get some of the comic fans.
Yeah.
It's a whole other thing.
I don't. I guess I don't think too much about it.
I know. I don't either. But I'm trying to be. You know, in that zone, so I know what I'm talking about. Raphael.
Well, I'm the newest guy here for sure. The trade-in, just as they will last year. My first Kickstarter, issue 2 just came out and did well. Ended last week. I'm working on a project with Vince White on a one-shot that should be out hopefully by October. That's going to be a special one. It's a little more in depth and as to a trade-in's past as a deputy that leads to why he became a trade-in. So it's going to be some good stuff.
Yeah, that looks good. That looks real good. Nick, you were going to say something, or are you going to show something?
Oh yeah, I got it loaded up. You just got to.
Okay, I gotta allow you.
I guess, yeah.
Oh, here it is. Boom.
So this is the first page of. Yeah, you got to put your glasses on. I know the feeling. I'm nearsighted, so.
Right.
Oh, I'm loving it already, Nick.
Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it's this third panel that I was like, I've redrawn it like 4 or 5 times. So eventually it'll look right.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we got going on there. And then, well, I say
now they're in the same universe, right?
Yeah, they're in a shared universe.
That's cool.
So
cool.
Yeah, most of these characters are in the West Coast. So
okay. So they could run into each other.
Oh yeah, that's the plan.
That's cool.
I've been messing around for like the last 11 years putting each title together, and then I'm like, you know what? These guys have only been together once, and it was a one-shot called War Drums.
Yeah,
it was only 8 pages, and it was just like we did it for Free Comic Book Day just to give people a little.
I remember that
idea of our characters. So
I got that, Nick.
Did you?
Yeah, you got.
Did you get it at the con?
Yeah, the 8-page one.
Yeah, the 8-pager.
Yeah,
I got to take some of the pages out though because I don't
awesome.
have rights to those characters anymore. But
okay, you can just replace them, right?
Yeah, I got alternates for them.
Oh, perfect.
So
that's I've had to do that too. It's a pain in the butt, but
yeah,
is how it is.
It is what it
is.
It's
like
bro.
I always tell people, it's like if you were in a band, right? And then like you're about to like go on, your show is coming up, and then all of a sudden like your drummer quits or something, and you're like, well, we gotta replace them. I mean, we have to keep going, right?
Right.
So
that happens. That happens quite a bit. That happened. Almost the entire band was used as replacements, except for like the guitar player. It was me first in the Gimme Gimmes. We went to go see him at the House of Blues in San Diego.
Really?
And none of the original band members were there. It was like maybe the like I said, the guitarist, and everyone else was a fill-in that they're alternates. It's like we saw the third line.
Wow. I'm gonna try and share my screen because there's a really cool one of my favorite pages is where's my share screen? Share screen. Where is it? It used to be easier. Is it present?
Yeah.
Share screen. Here we go. Okay. Am I okay. Select tab. Okay. Am I sharing? Can you see that?
You are
Not
not
yet.
sharing.
Not yet.
Not yet. Select a tab. Okay. I want
Trust me, I'm the worst guy with computers from all of you guys.
Here we go. Share.
I am
It's
terrible.
like something moved. Did you see that?
Oh, look
Yep.
at that.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite pages, obviously written by Evan. But I just like the dynamic, it's very, very Batman-esque, and very, mystical here. And it's just kind of a really cool page the way it turned out, just so happened to be Nick's characters that got this
I
cool
like how
scene.
grumpy Phantom Hawk is. He just looks grumpy all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Evan, do you want to say anything about how you wrote this here?
That page.
Yeah.
Well, I just read a couple of books from each character. I think I read
Nice.
all. I think I read all of them, or of Phantom Hawk anyway. And yeah, I mean, I got them. I got the gist of what the characters were, and thought, how would they react to the antimatter wave from Crisis on Infinite Earths coming to their universe? So
That's awesome.
It looks great, man. It looks great.
Yeah, and Brian Dawson did the art here. I did the coloring. Evan did the lettering and the writing, obviously. And I think it's a really cool page. Them seeing the anomaly in their universe, and I don't know if these characters have intersected in your comics yet, Nick.
No, but it's coming.
Okay.
It's coming.
Yeah. Well, they probably are aware of each other.
We put little Easter eggs in the comic,
Yeah.
Especially the later issues. The latest Phantom Hawk series that's going to come out within the next year makes fun of bird characters, guys with wings.
Oh yeah.
So he's like, hey, as long as I don't want to be the bird guy. And everyone's kind of looking at him strangely, like, what do you mean? It's like every superhero team has a bird guy. I don't want to be that guy. I hate that guy.
Nice.
Yeah, I can't wait for that, Nick. I can't wait for that matchup. That's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be some cool stuff. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff planned. Unfortunately, I'm working so slow, recovering from the stroke and all. Is that it takes me forever to get a page done now.
Man, it's rough. Some people always say, the people who aren't artists, they say, oh man, I wish I could draw my own comic. Then I wouldn't have to pay someone. But whenever I pay someone, it's fast. But then, I go through all my money and I'm like, oh, it's so difficult. And then I don't want to draw because I don't have time. I could draw a cover or a color, but I don't have time to draw, things for people, when I'm asked to draw a cover, unless something comes to mind right away or if I had time. But I have like 10 projects that I want to get out, and those are already waiting for me to manage and draw or color or letter. And it's just so hard. So a lot of times when I do hire somebody, it's like a load off my shoulders. Like it can be produced.
It's a load off your bank account too.
Yeah. So you're either losing time or you're losing money. Yep. I think it was Darren Brady who said to me, which I remembered, he just said that this week. He said something like time is the only thing you can't like get back or something. What did he say? I gotta try and quote him here.
Probably stole it from Howard Stark.
He might have
about a second of time.
Yeah. And I thought that's good way to think about it. Because you're always doing a trade-off one way or another.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But let's see, we got some other characters here. So this is a new character called Pentecost. He is going to be in a eventual team up with a character in Red Talon, Ken's book. So
I like Red Talon.
Yeah, yeah, and Ken works crazy shifts. Otherwise, I know he'd be wanted to be on the show. um, Also, I have a little bit of a cough, so if I mute and cough, that's why. Some other characters, like in this scene, we got Stellar Man from Outed. That's Evan David's character.
Woohoo!
We also have Blue Jay and The Oath, both from Aspire Comics, which is run by Gabriel Dill. There's Starstruck, my character. This is the Symbol. Now Brian Dawson, the artist, we meaning me and in Evan's script would say a lot of times like, here's all the characters fighting, arrange them however you want, you know. So one, if somebody's like, hey, how come my character is always getting punched, it's like, one, we let the artist just decide who got punched where, you know. And two, you know, some characters were introduced early and sometimes they're in there more often than others, but it wasn't any favoritism. It was just however the artist wanted to draw it. So let's just say if Nick Gear was like, hey, how come, you know, Tin Soldier's way down there and he's not being shown, you know, it's like, we didn't really tell him who to center or anything, you know. And Trash Man from Hybrids, Luke Stone's character, I think, yeah, here's when they teleport in. This blue character here is from the Ebon Guard. His name is Haikagi. He's Randy's character. Then we got Pillow Man and Blanket Boy, Sean Davis's character, and the guy in red here. This is Power Grip, and he's from Archie Cunningham's comic. Called I'm so many things to remember. It's Armored Forces, yeah. But what's funny is, so these characters were kind of introduced mildly in the first issue, so that's why they get to like show themselves now in the second issue and do something. So then when more characters are introduced, then they'll probably, you know, have more to do in the third and fourth issue, and that's just kind of how it goes. So if somebody's like, hey, how come I was shown but I didn't get to do it, and it's like, well, we got to pace things out. Everyone's gonna get something to do at some point.
Everybody gets something to do, and the fourth issue is twice as long as all the other issues, so there's plenty of space.
Yeah, I remember when, so the first issue, I had the idea and I talked to people who wanted to be involved, and I didn't want to write it because it was just so many characters to try to integrate. And I had a friend named Mike, and he did a book for us called Tommy and the Tapeworm. Aside from that, he's a really good writer. He writes novels and stuff like that. And he said he had no problem writing it. So it took him like a year. And then he shows me like 2 pages. And it had nothing to do with anything that I told him to put in the book. It was like these guards. And it was 2 pages of these guards talking. And I was like, what does that have to do with a book that's featuring all these indie characters? Like, you're like, well, I'm getting to them. Like, no, you can't pace it like this. I'm just going to write it. So I ended up writing the first issue. And then luckily I was lucky to that Evan said he would write the next issue. And then he went ahead and wrote the third and fourth. And I told him, I said, you know, I don't want it to go like infinitely long because I eventually want to get to other projects and, you know, free up these other creators' characters so they can go about their business and not tied up in this long crossover. So he said, okay, I can make it for, I think, correct me if I'm wrong. At first it was like, oh, well, maybe we can make it 6 issues. Maybe we can make it 5 issues. I can get it down to 4 issues. And I was like, really? Yeah. Okay. And I didn't think it was possible because I thought, I mean, just so much going on. And I know about like the twists coming in the 3rd and 4th issue. So kind of a little misdirection, kind of a little, you know, twists, if you have it. But yeah, just to fit, I don't think it's easy to fit this many characters in a book, and there's more coming. So, Yeah, and we do have the first issue available too, so for people to catch up on it. But yeah, this was actually supposed to launch back in like I want to say January, because I had just finished the Starcross team up with Luke, and I think that was going to launch second, but it ended up launching first because Luke wanted it on his Fun My Comic, and then actually kind of got in the way of other Starcross people's books, and I could have put them both out at the same time, but I didn't want to crash into other people's campaigns. So what I did was I waited, and then I waited, and then I waited, and I think it was James is like, "Hey, dude, you should get that book out." I'm like, "I'm going to, but like Ken's doing his campaign, and I don't want to like take. It'll be like, oh, why you got a crush on my campaign? You know?" It's like, I'll just wait.
I wasn't gonna bring it up, but since you brought it up, I was like, just get it out there.
Well, that's why I have these guys around, because they'll tell me like, hey, you should do this and not that, and that's why, I always consider Starcross like if we were all at a comic convention and Evan had a table and James had a table and I had a table and you guys all had tables, and James is using this one technique and I'm using this one technique, and then Evan's selling the most for some reason, and we're all like, man, how come he's selling so much, and like, how come James got so many people at his table? But then you might be saying, yeah, I got them, but I'm not able to like seal the deal, close the deal on them buying it. But then, oh
no, they always buy. But come on.
They always buy
it. But we all have different strengths and techniques and like knowledge, and like if we're like, hey, what if we just had one big table? I mean, like one row, or something, and we're all like, hey, let's do this. Oh, what are you doing? That's working. Oh yeah, let's do that. Or we go, hey, if you like this book, his book is very similar, a lot of stuff like that. You should check that out. Or this is a crossover with that character. So if you get this book, you should also get his book because that is this character's book. And that's the way I always thought it would be, maximum for everyone involved, because it's like we're not like competing, and if we can all like come together, we should be able to like enhance everything we do, like Image Comics, the whole Image Comics thing, but what I always thought was it's better to be standing, with people that you work well together, because not everybody works well together, which you find out, but we have like a good process of like, getting to know the different creators, so we know if we'd work well together or if we'd clash heads, because I all you guys I know and I like working with, and I trust you guys. I leave my wallet on the table and know it would still be there. I'd say, hey, here's the keys to my house, I'm gonna be gone, can you check on and it's that kind of trust that I have with everybody in Starcross, and all the people we work with in BibPro are also companies that we trust and that we like and we want to like lift up as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm in awe because you guys are some of my favorite artists from the planet. I'm just James, Nick, Evan. I'm just like, wow. And I have almost every single person's their comics. It's just it blows me away that I'm even.
That's awesome.
Awesome, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
I got to do the Bill Murray on that one and be like, yes. That's why
Nick was the first guy I met from all you guys. Nick was a big inspiration to me. Yeah, like last year he was actually a very good mentor and taught me a lot. Awesome. And did my first commission for a tradie and it just blew it away.
Technically, I was the second commission. You got
Tony Cottrell. He created him.
Tony Cottrell, the first one.
Right, but you did the commission. He nailed it. And I'm just proud to be with you guys, man. It's amazing. It's amazing. Thank you all, man. Thank you, Joe, and all you guys.
I checked all the blocks. I can quit now.
Nick was like the
I-
second artist to ever draw a Trade Justice.
That's
right?
him. That's
Oh,
him.
okay. Okay.
I did a lot of character design too for some of the other characters in that.
Yeah, he did. You know,
Oh,
he did.
man.
He did the Knights. He did
Really?
Iron Angel. He did Rip Blaze. He did.
I didn't know
They were
that.
all fun. They were all fun. Yeah, I got
didn't
the
know
files
that.
on my iPad
He
because
did.
I was on the road when I was.
Yeah,
doing it.
he was working. You were in Florida, weren't you?
Yeah, I was detailed out to Florida for like 45 days, and all I
Okay.
had was like my Apple Pencil and my iPad.
Oh.
So I was.
And he
Knocking
nailed it.
stuff
He
out.
nailed them.
Wow.
I kept harassing him.
He's like, "You working on?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm working on it right now, bro. I just got off of work. You got to give me a minute. I had to teach a bunch of South Texas guys how to swim."
That's right. So Nick was stationed down here for 6 years, right, Nick? So we kind of hit it off because he knows the valley. 6 years living in the town next to where I live, and so we hit it off right away.
Do you guys meet in person?
Not yet, man.
No.
That's the goal.
Okay.
I was going to go out to the South Texas Comic Con. I was planning on it before the stroke, that was New Year's Eve. The con was in April, and I'd already had it planned out. I was going to be there because I was there for like the first 4 or 5 South Texas Comic Con, so it's kind of an apogee tradition to be there. And I mean, we were there, just I wasn't there personally. The company was there, though.
Yeah, Rini was there.
Yeah, and he's the co-creator and writer on Bengali.
Bengali.
Oh, wow. Oh, we got a call.
Yep, that's me. Sorry about that. Turn it off. You know,
You're
when
on
you're
the
sitting
air
in church,
with,
and the guy in
Smarthouse.
church goes off like, "God."
My phone has been on vibrate for the last 8 years, which I
Nice.
find funny that I used to purchase ringtones back in the day. Now,
Oh, that
now I
used to
get
be a
mad
thing.
it makes noise.
Yeah,
Everybody did.
that's funny.
Now I get upset. I'm like, why is my phone ringing? I specifically told you not to.
Yeah, when somebody calls me, I'm like, what's wrong? Oh, I just wanted to say what's up. And I'm like, that's why you called me? That's like an emergency tactic. Like, just
Text first, bro.
me. Just text me. Don't call
That's
me.
how my kids are.
That's like they have those skits where somebody like knocks at a door and they're like, "Get down, everybody, get down!" And they like are behind the couch with a shotgun, and they're like, "Hey, it's me, it's your friend," and they're like, "Why'd you come to my house? You didn't even call me."
Now that I moved up
Back
to
in
the
the day,
foothills,
everyone
like
used to come
nobody
to the
comes
house.
by unannounced.
Yeah,
Which I
everyone
like.
used to just knock at the door back in the day. That's how you knew somebody wanted to get a hold of you,
Now my
Yeah.
dogs are barking. I'm like, who the heck's at my fence?
right?
Which is like a quarter mile down the road. I'm like, get the binos
Oh, nice.
out. I'm like, who the hell is that? Then I'll text them, why you here? What you want?
You would have cameras mounted to the outside.
I got a ring camera on the
Yeah.
on the front gate.
I think everybody has Ring now. Everybody has some kind of camera system.
Yeah,
On
I
your
do.
phone. This is the front door.
Right? I'm like, oh, it was the wind.
Yeah,
What was that?
cat.
Oh, it was
The damn
Amazon. Yep.
It's always Amazon.
Right.
It's always Amazon.
But
Because
nowadays
I'm constantly ordering stuff.
they're like in normal cars. So you're like, who's this? Who's this? Like, because they're not always in vans. Sometimes they're just in regular cars. Man, yeah. This is the bar scene. It's actually like a supernatural, tavern. So they're pretty safe in this area. Evan, you lettered this, right? That must have been nuts.
Oh yes, because I scripted it a certain way, right? But then we gave it to Brian, and he drew it. He drew it where none of the characters are in the order,
Correct.
where they speak.
In my defense,
For sure.
I actually sketched it out in the correct order, and I placed the characters in order and put arrows on who was who, and I laid it out just according to Evan's script. And then Brian draws this, and we're like, huh, okay. And I'm like, dude, that wasn't me. I told him what to do, and this is what he gave us. So
some very long word balloon trails here just to get everything, because we want to get, you got to get it in order, but you don't want to block any of the characters.
Yeah, it works.
So yeah.
Yeah, it was very hard. We had to get certain characters for sure had to be there because they were from the previous fight. I think originally I wanted more characters in this scene, but it was fine. The other guys could be just like, more towards the camera, the part you can't see.
There was a ton of times where Joe's like, we need these characters in here. I'm like, but
we need more characters.
This is a story, and we have to introduce the characters in the story before we can show them on the page. So, but we are there. There is going to come a point, I think, in the third one where it's a character dump.
Yeah.
They're all just like, okay, it's everybody.
100%.
Yeah.
I know. Which is why I was so pressurized to write the story, because I'm just like dumping characters, but like there needs to be a story. I'm feeling so much pressure, especially with the campaign in general. I know, everybody's characters are in here, so I'm trying to do a good job with them. I think my main thing was always at the forefront, not to, do anybody's character wrong, where you get other creators working on either movie projects or other comics or novelization or anything like that, and they always go, oh yeah, they screwed up the character, or like, oh, when they made the movie the character would never do that in the comic, and this and that. So I always wanted to say, like, I want Nick's characters to act like Nick's characters, and I want them to look like his characters. I don't want somebody to take license with, well, I want his character to say this, so, or I want him to look like this, so he's gonna be like the, how they change things and then it upsets the fans. So I wanted to be like, very well melded with the previous books that they're from. But yeah, Brian Dawson, he's the artist that banged these out. Yeah, this is a real cool scene. There's gonna be a double page spread. Some of the characters in this scene, which people don't know, are two people who got the perk from the previous issues Indiegogo campaign, where you could have your character put in the book. So there's two characters in this scene that are from that, where they
that's cool.
Fought the right to be in the book. Yeah. So I offered that again. So heads up, Evan.
Okay. That's fine.
You're like, who's a character with antlers and a tail, or what? I'm like, don't. Yeah, it's somebody bought.
Yeah, I don't know what's worse, if you put somebody else's character in, or if you put a likeness. Oh man, likenesses are terrible.
I never thought of that. You're like, yeah, I just want a picture of me. I'm like, well, actually, that would be easy, because you could just put them as one of the citizens running away, like running out of the way so they don't get hit by rubble or something.
You can't charge as much though. You can't charge as much
I did
for
that.
a citizen running away.
Yeah,
you got to put them in as a main character or something.
Yeah. What's that? Nick?
One guy, it was one of the perks, old Kickstarter. Become a character in the book, and I was thinking the same thing, some citizen running away.
Yeah,
but I designed him, and then I was like, oh wait, I have this bar that all these mercs like to go to, so maybe he's he's the bartender, maybe he's the owner proprietor of the bar. Cool. So I ended up making him because he's a TSA agent in like Washington State, and he's kind of a burly dude. So I drew him, and I'm like, hey, what about this? And I like the design so much, I'm like, I think I'm going to keep him. He's part of the canon now.
That's cool.
Nice.
I've heard other people do that before. I remember that happening. Somebody integrated a character and actually became a character in the book. I'll play the video real quick for people who haven't seen it. I don't know if I can make this big or not. I'll just play it. Yeah, I still love that video. It's short, but you know, you don't want it much longer.
It did well. It looked good.
Yeah. Let me move my share screen.
So how long does the campaign go for, Joe?
30 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any
I got
any special reason why you started it today? Or
no. So
to that?
you know, let me think. So
It's
I knew
new comic book day.
Yeah.
It is.
I wanted to launch it soon, and I wanted to make this campaign where I had everybody's character next to the logo with the release date as kind of a promo, so people were seeing the different characters that were in there. And I said, I don't know how long that's going to take me. Well, it took me like a day and a half with my free time, and I got those done. I'm like, okay, so those are done. I'm going to start launching those for the promo. Well, now I need a date. So then I was like, okay, well, I got to put a date. Well, how long am I going to do this? I'm like, well, I'll do it. I'll do it this week and I'll launch it next week. And I just picked a day, and I'm like, well, you know, I'm not home when I'm doing that. So what would be a good time that I have free time? I'm like, well, at lunchtime. So I decided to launch at lunchtime. And, you know, before I was trying to line up certain YouTube shows when I was going to launch it back in January, which is a bad time to launch a campaign anyways. And because of that, it got pushed. So I started feeling like, man, I don't want to have that happen ever again. I'm going to launch it because I don't want to keep putting it off because all the stars aren't aligned perfectly, and I don't have certain show. So I'm doing a show tomorrow, and then I'm doing a show Friday, not on my channel but on other channels, and then I'll start lining up more, you know, as many as I can get on. So that's how that'll go. But I know, like, some of the guys in Starcross are saying that, you know, they're thinking that going forward, they're not going to do campaigns. They're just going to do the book and put it out and advertise like they would normally advertise for their campaign. Just say, here's where the book is, go get it, you know, as opposed to an actual campaign on a campaign site, but rather say, hey, my book's almost done. Hey, it's about to come out. Hey, tomorrow it's going to be, you know, available on the website. Boom, now it's available on the website. Everybody go get it. And so they're still kind of campaigning, but it's not like a campaign site. It's just like, go buy the book.
Yeah, you're not doing crowdfunding. You're just doing direct sales to the customer through your website.
Yeah,
which is a good way to go. I did Solarium Prime with that, and
there you go.
Pre-orders and it funded.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't really fund it. It created enough revenue where I was able to produce the book, publish it, because it was already done.
So yeah, I don't tell the Starcross guys, like, you know, do a campaign or definitely don't do a campaign. However they want to do it. I believe Sean, who does Pillowman and Blanket Boy, he is going to do just a direct one like that. And I said, hey, that's fine. You've been thinking about that and you've decided that. I mean, because he's done campaigns before, so he already knows. So if somebody doesn't want the stress of running a campaign, doing shows, doing constant promotion, I mean, that's fine. But then we have like another creator who's a new creator, and, you know, he needs those funds to put his book out. So I get that, you know. Also being new, he wants to kind of get out there so more people like hear about his project. So I totally get that. You know, fortunate for the people who can draw their own books, you know, they can just,
you lucky guys.
It takes time.
It takes time. Just because we can draw it doesn't mean it's not a pain in the neck for us as well.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's just a different kind of pain in the neck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's slightly different. Yeah.
James, correct me if I'm wrong. Are you now going forward the writer of Alpha Red now?
I was a writer of Alpha Red. With issue number 6, I have a writer who came along, and I'm having him help me. He wrote the main story. We're doing it Marvel style, where he sent me an overview of the thing, and then he kind of broke it down to suggested pages, action things, story plot points that happen on certain pages, and I kind of did whatever I wanted anyway.
So 6 going forward.
6 going forward. Well, right now, 6 and 7 he wrote.
Yep.
And so, I was working on a follow-up to my issues 1 through 5, and then I had a story in mind, and I was having a hard time getting it out, like pacing it. I had the story in mind, but I didn't have the details, and then the overall arc. I didn't know how the pieces were fitting together. And here's this young guy, Ray. He was Ray McKay. He reached out to me. He said, "Hey, do you need a writer?" I'm like, "No, I do it all.
Right.
I do it all. Unless you can color or letter, I don't need you." And then the frustration of not having something to draw, just thinking of the story, and writing down notes, and it just wasn't clicking. And so I said, you know what? It's more important for people to see more Alpha Red sooner rather than have the perfect story. So
Exactly.
it's for me, it was just a way to get more Alpha Red on a page so that I can eventually share it. And it's been fun. It's challenging in ways because I'm not used to collaborating, but he's a young guy. So I say, "Hey, you got to do it this way." He goes, "All right, boss." So it's been pretty good.
So he'll send you a script, and you might say, "Looks good, but this one part, I want it like this."
Yeah. So he sent. I'm sticking with the overall story that he wrote, but he broke it out into like 2 or 3 pages. He goes, "This should happen in this many story beats." I was like, "Okay."
Yep.
And then I would have to think of like what I need to draw to make that happen. And then I said, "Hey, wouldn't it be cool if I added this?" I'm like, I got to have a splash page here. Like he didn't, he doesn't tell me where to put splash pages and stuff. So I got this. Got to be a splash page. This got to be like this. And then I remember the first 3 pages I sent to him. He goes, "That looks awesome. You're doing another book?" I'm like, "No, this is our book."
No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's funny.
Yeah, when I'm like, "Oh, this has to be a splash page. It has to be." Yep. No, I know what you're talking about.
He's been pretty good. And it's new to him too, the Marvel way. He's used to writing full script. And so
has he done comics before?
Yeah, so he sent me a bunch of comics. He sent me a bunch of stuff that he wrote. So I knew that he had the goods. He wrote compelling stories.
You'll have to forgive me because I got confused by your story where you talked about there was a writer who initially was writing Alpha Red and you were doing the art, and then you guys had a conflict on the story elements, and then you took over. So I think I got that mixed up where there was an original writer for the first issue, right?
When I initiated Alpha Red, it was a collaboration with a writer that I had collaborated with for Fubar under Alterna Comics. It was just Fubar under Alterna was a zombie anthology, a World War II zombie anthology. I got paired up with Mike and Bowden, and he wrote a script, I drew it, and he said, "What are you doing after?" I said, "Nothing really." And so we came up with Alpha Red, and it was just this generic superhero comic that we were going to kind of use as our resume to hand into Marvel or DC or whatever, and say, "Hey, look, we created this this fun thing that looks good and reads well. Like, give me writing work, give me drawing work based on that." And halfway through issue number 1, a buddy of mine, he said, "Hey, does this honor God?" And I said, "No, it doesn't. It's just a generic superhero comic." And so, I felt the conviction of what he was saying. You're spending all this time, all your talent, and it's going to go to something that doesn't glorify God. So I just brought it to him and I said, hey, let's can we put in some faith-based elements? He's like, I'm just not interested in that. And he said, if you want to go in that direction, you can go ahead. You can have everything. And then so I had to rewrite the story.
Yeah.
I came up with the look of Alpha Red, and I came up with some of the scenes.
Okay.
And stuff.
It'd be
So-
interesting to see. I mean, not that it's necessary, but out of curiosity, what he was looking like prior to that.
Yeah.
I have
Just-
that.
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
that. Let me see if I have it handy. It's the same. Yeah, I don't know if you can.
Oh yeah, I remember that
Yeah, I
one.
remember that too.
So
that
it was
was
gonna
the
be
prior.
this, yeah, and
Okay.
then it was written by him. But like when you read it, it's like a it's
Totally different.
you know, he's like he's waiting to go to the bar to pick up girls and
Ha!
stuff. I'm like,
Ha! Yeah, totally different. Wow. So yeah, I mean, I remember that image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
yeah,
must have-
I used it.
shown
I
it.
did eventually use it for for the real issue #1. This is like a 16-page. I think I put
Okay.
together initially a 16-page thing, and that was going to be actually it's only like 8 pages that we worked together on,
Wow.
and then by that time I was like I gotta go with what God's calling me to do.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm out.
Yeah. No, I understand. Ralph, what do you got? I know you have a lot of offshoots from Atreidian Justice 2 going on, right? You got
Yeah. So like
family members, right?
I can't draw, so I can sketch, and Nick sees my sketches, so but I can write.
I did the best I could, man.
You nailed it. I scripted issue 1, pretty much all of it. Aaron Dowan helped me put it together. Issue 2 as well. Most of it's mine, but Aaron came in and helped me edit it. And then that one shot, I completely wrote that one, and he edited it, but it's like 99% me. So I'm trying to get stronger as a scripter. I can't draw, but I can try and script as much as I can. It's a powerful story. It's what he went through as a deputy. Some that tested his faith several times in the comic. He goes back and he thinks back to when he was in narcotics and somebody got killed. The first time his son gets arrested. So it's really on the challenges of his faith, that one shot. That's why I want it to be in between 1 and 2, and it also kind of shows him learning his powers. So that was a lot of fun, and Vince White's almost done with the coloring on that. He's gonna do lettering as well. So it's turning out good, man. It's gonna introduce another guy named Razor Wolf. Razor Wolf is a cousin to Atreidian, who is Mexican Indian, and he's an Army Ranger that gets kicked out because he confronts a major that's prostituting some kids. So but the military kind of keeps it hush hush, and they kick both of them out. So throughout this, his problems he's going through, he's gonna save this child that's drowning, and his ancestors see that Earth at this time needs help, and they give him the power of Razor Wolf. So in the comic, it's gonna be his ancestors from the past giving him his powers. So that's gonna be an exciting.
What you got there, Nick?
It's a hat that has the abbreviation RLTW, Rangers Lead the Way.
Oh,
Yeah. Hey,
as a former member of 2nd Ranger Battalion.
I got the idea from you, Nick. I wanted him to be special. So he's a Ranger, but he's gonna be kind of like a darker version of Atreidian. This guy's a little tougher. And so in the Atreidian comics, the Astro Wolves are gonna breed with humans. So Earth is like, hey man, the Earth itself is like, we need to protect her too. So they choose Razor Wolf in that series.
So is that character who almost looks like he has? I thought it looked like a lion mate.
Oh no, that's Lionstone. That's Lionstone.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, this is someone else. I'm getting mixed
guy
up.
with a mohawk.
Oh yeah, you showed me the mohawk guy. Yep.
Yeah, right.
I got it. Okay, cool.
So it's a lot of fun, man. I wish I could. I know you guys are amazing artists, all you guys, and I love all your work. And but I can write. I'm trying to write. I'm trying to get stronger as a writer.
Right.
Yeah. Pick up DC Comics Guide to Writing Comics by Denny O'Neil. That'll help you quite a bit. It helped me,
Cool, man.
especially if you start doing stuff like Joe doing like a Megaverse crossover. It's got all kinds of breakdowns on how to do that.
That's
just an amazing book.
I'm gonna get that, but I like the whole thing with how trading is justice based, right? The essence of justice. So every multiverse and everywhere has to have a form of justice, right? So the sort of justice is able to connect with these multiverses and ask for help or help other people. So I'm hoping to use that as a guide to do crossovers with other people.
Oh,
that's the goal.
I've always wanted to put Phantom Hawk in the RGV. I'm just saying.
Let's go, baby. I think Razor Wolf would be great for that one, man.
There you go. Yeah, whenever I need to enhance my writing ability, I just call Evan and ask him to rewrite it for me. Right, Evan?
Yep. And I am happy to do it. Thank you for all the work, Joe.
Well, a couple times early on when I had just, an idea and I was trying to, how do I take that idea and kind of structure it and then, it kind of, it's going everywhere. So I'm going like, crazy with too much information, and then I would send it to Evan. I'd say, this is what I'm trying to do, but I'm having a hard time kind of corralling it. It's kind of wild right now. And then he would structure it. I'm like, oh, that's really good. So now I try to hit him up and have him structure things because, he uses his own rules to get everything in order. And it always turns out good. So, what do you have to say today? What do you got going on right now?
For me?
Yeah, for you.
Well, I am pretty busy with some not independent comic book work. So I work for Focus on the Family. I write comics for Adventures in Odyssey, which is a super awesome dream come true for me. But lots of work on that. I've got a couple of other projects in the hopper. But we will be having 2 books coming out through Starcross in a little bit. One of them is called Giant World.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just waiting on the cover for that, and then we'll be ready to release it, and it's really cool. Somebody contacted me, the creator of the characters, and wanted me to write it. And so he's been waiting a long time to publish his first comic, so it's pretty cool. And it's a story about how something happens and like a third or a quarter of the human race gets turned into giants, like 20-foot, 30-foot giants.
Yeah, really.
And so
big.
like, how does the world adapt to that? And then it also ends up making a bunch of kaiju, and so we need some giant superheroes to fight the kaiju. So that's pretty cool. And then we've got the Starcross team up that I've been working on forever, and I hate
Girls on Fire.
I hate coloring. Yes,
I would color it, or I would do flats. I just need time. I just need to.
We're gonna get it out. We're gonna get it out, and it's a team up between Black Blossom and the Outed characters, and no, it's just Stellar Girl from the Outed characters.
Yes,
and then it's Rain from Starstruck.
Yep.
From GOD.
Yep.
And Night Eye from Red Talon.
It's an all girls issue.
Yes. All girls.
It's awesome. Yeah. It turned out great. It's just a fun action adventure one shot.
Yeah.
Save the day type of danger, natural disaster.
Yeah, they're trying to stop a volcano, and so it's called Girls on Fire.
Yeah. It's really awesome. Yeah, and with Giant World, when he first mentioned it, I was like, well, I have to see about that. And then the art came in, and I'm like, well, it's one of the artists we work with, and it was, obviously beautiful looking. And then I figured, well, Evan's writing it, so I think it's like an automatic green light because I already know the artist and I know what Evan's gonna write. So whether it's a really bizarre concept. I trust Evan to write it and for it to be good. So let's just do it.
It's going to be cool. It's definitely a first issue. So it's, there's the prologue set up the world, and then it's just James Bond opening action sequence. So there's not a whole lot of getting to know the characters in the first issue, but it's a good setup for the world, and you get to see what is coming down the pike. So.
And the main characters, the team, if you want to call them a team,
yes,
they're all giants.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's every major city on Earth has a giant league, right? So
that's cool, man. That's awesome.
Every major city's got a group of giant humans who have.
It's like a Justice League with Ultramen.
Yeah, kind of like.
Badass.
I feel like most of them are like volunteer firefighters, right? So like, like Minneapolis has probably got, a couple of volunteer guys, but New York City's got like professional paid government funded people.
Are they always giant? Are they always like 20 feet tall?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Once you're giant, you're giant, and and you're stuck that way. And so that's part of the fun of the world building.
As a giant, your in and out order would be expensive.
Yes.
Yeah, I wonder if they factor in like food shortages, from
Yeah, you're right.
So it's going to take like 100 cows to make a burger,
right?
Well, it's like a quarter of all life on Earth got giant.
So there's giant cows.
Yes, there are.
Oh yeah, nice.
Thank the Lord. There's giant cows.
So yeah,
it's pigeons flying by. That would be really bad.
Yeah, on like
you thought it was bad at normal size getting sucked into an engine.
Yeah.
There's a scene where we draw like Ground Zero when the humans first turn giant, and there's like a giant ant, and it's like going after the regular size humans, So it's
man,
it's
pages. Please let me draw a cover for this. I need to draw a cover for this.
Please do. We need a cover.
Yeah, let me know, man.
Okay. So Scott, the guy who came up with all this stuff, like he's been trying to break into comics for like decades. He tried to do it with Marvel and DC, and but he's not a writer. He just likes coming up with the characters, and they're like, well, that's not really a job at our comic book company. So but he's reached out, and we're making the stuff. So it's pretty cool. This first issue, it's taken me the longest of any issue that I've ever produced. It's been like 3 years. And I feel really bad about it because usually
I know that pain, Evan.
Yeah.
Corvin and Sparrow, I've been trying to get that going since the first issue of Phantom Hawk because she was originally supposed to be a part of that as a side character, possible love interest. Mm-hmm. And then when I got to South Texas and I met with Renee and hired him and we started just many nights at my place on a bonfire with cigars and alcoholic beverages, adult beverages, just in a notepad, just jotting out ideas. And we've been trying to get this off the ground. So now we're finally we said, 2024 is going to be the year. We're finally going to get it done.
Yeah.
People don't realize how long, these projects takes. It's not just, we'll just draw it. We'll just write it. Oh, just put it out. It's like, you could have an illness. You could have, something that happens with your house. You have to move. You could have, something with your family. You could have something with your job. You could have something where
the biggest thing, Joe, is crashed. That you come up with that idea and you're like, all right, this is it. We finally got everything solidified. And then one of the bigger publishers come out with the exact same idea.
Yeah.
It looked different. You're like, oh crap. Now you got to go back to the drawing board.
I've had
my whole idea of mutants, like I had to redo my whole world view of mutants in my universe when the first X-Men movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
So, because in my universe, it was okay. It was pretty much the same thing. It was like, okay, well, when you become a teenager and you start getting these hormones, that's when your power is going to kick off, which was never a thing in the comics prior to 2001. And then the X movie comes out, and I'm like, crap! Now I got to come up with another way of why these guys have these powers.
Yeah, I've had that so I didn't want to use Starstruck as the title because there was already an old 70s Marvel book called Starstruck, It was like a space adventure. So I'm like, well, I can't call it the main character's name. Well, I could name it after the bad guys, and the bad guys are the Global Order Decree, GOD. And I'm like, that would look cool because it would look like God, and that's a really impactful title on the book. I'm like, I'm gonna use that, and it'll be G dot and it'll say Global Order Decree underneath. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that. And I've had that for years, a long time. And recently there was a Marvel series with their version of Constantine from DC. It's like the Marvel Constantine, and his book is called G.O. Gods, but with the abbreviation. I'm like, and it looks just like, and I'm like, people are going to be like, hey, you ripped off Marvel. I'm like, no, I had this for a long time. They just released this, and I'm like, seriously? I changed it from Starstruck to God, and then they released the GODS, and I'm like, and it looks, because it has the dots, and I'm like, I always tell people when that happens, because creators have come to me and they're like, oh, this looks just like this, should I change it? I'm like, no, don't change it. You didn't copy them. Keep going.
Yeah.
When I did stop what you want to do.
When I did Outed, right, it's the Superman family gets their a secret identities revealed, and then they become more like the Fantastic Four family. But so I've got the whole book illustrated, it's being colored, and Brian Michael Bendis decides, hey, I'm going to reveal Superman's secret identity in the DC comics, and I'm like, dude,
Bendis, you a-hole.
Well,
my friend.
So if you buy the first issue of the first printing, there's a disclaimer page that is basically like, look, I really did think of this first.
Right.
I just got both his books.
There you go. My friend Dan and I have this theory. That's why sometimes he won't vocalize his whole idea for his book, or he won't show it that much, because he knows once it's put out, we have this theory that all the brain signals or whatever go out into the ether, and then all of a sudden, James is like, hey, I got this cool idea that just came to my head. I'm like, that was mine. That was my idea. And he's like, no, it just came to you.
I have a
I
philosophy.
was talking about it.
I have a theory on that.
Uh-oh.
So you have the main zeitgeist, right? The collective brainwave interception of a common thought. And then you have the artist subreddit channel or the sub Discord going on there, where it's just artists thinking of the same stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's like, as soon as you get close to pulling the trigger on it and releasing it, someone else has beat you by 3 months. They're like, oh, that's already out. And I'm like, ah.
You know what it reminds me of? You'll be in your living room and the TV's on, and you'll say to someone hey, that's enough. And then on the commercial, we'll say, that's enough. And you're like, what? That was weird. And then my other friend says, oh, I have even weirder than that. I'll have it happen 3 times in a row. I'll be like, oh yeah, I read that. Did you read that? I read that. And the radio will say it and the TV will say it. So it's weird stuff. And I'll be thinking something in my head.
It's a glitch in the Matrix, man.
Yeah, and the radio I'm listening to in the car will say the exact same, not the whole sentence, but it'll say the same word. I'll be thinking oh, I forgot my water. And it'll be new, Ice Mountain
Aquafina.
Water. And I'm like, what? How did? I was just thinking that. Yeah. So it's
at
weird.
That point,
so,
I'd be like, am I writing in a Transformer? Is this bummer?
Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes it's weird, when you come up with such an original idea and you're like, oh, I love this because it's so original. No one's doing this. And then in a month, if you didn't put it out, all of a sudden there's a new movie and it's about that. And you're like, what? I came up with that, So I always say, then keep doing it. You didn't copy anyone, so just keep doing it. I know Ken, who does Red Talon, I know someone had told him, hey, your character looks like Deadpool. I'm like, no, he doesn't. He's just in red also. That has nothing to do with it. And I'm like, don't change. He goes, I should change him. I'm going to change him. I'm like, don't change him just because somebody said that.
Right.
Oh, the Cardinal. I had that one guy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That's, I'm like, man, I've only been in this business since 2012. This is my second IP dispute.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Come on, man. There's nothing similar. Phantom Hawk, I had an IP dispute also.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the
yeah.
characters weren't even close. They shared the name, but
Yep.
It
it's
honestly
like if you
doesn't
type in
matter.
Phantom Hawk, if you type in
said-
Phantom Hawk, mine comes up, not his.
I sent Nick like 4 characters who looked like that too, and I'm like, look at all these, and he's like, yeah, it's crazy, and I'm like, look, and these were after you. They were after Nick came up with his,
Yeah.
and I'm like, so if they're going after you, they got to go after these other guys too, because they just put out characters that look just like it too.
Oh, yeah.
So it's-
And I try to be an honorable man, but I'll use them as a human shield. I'm like, oh yeah, well, here's this guy.
yeah,
Go after
Yeah.
him.
Well, in DC and Marvel, I mean, they're just
Yep.
blatantly ripping off each other throughout the
Yep.
whole years. You know, like Aquaman's a
Doctor
rip off.
Strange,
Quicksilver's a
Thanos,
rip off.
Darkseid.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
So,
I don't even know if it's
Yep.
like you could call it's. There's only so many ideas, so many archetypes that we have in this industry that we can use.
mhm.
You know, I think the story is what makes them identifiable to the creator and that particular property. You know, so yeah, I need an Aqua dude. I'm gonna create one. I needed a
Right.
speedster. I created a speedster. There's, you know, we all want the pantheon,
Yeah.
like
Right.
DC and Marvel have for our own
Right.
universes because it makes sense and it makes it interesting and it gives us options storytelling wise.
Yeah.
There are people that blatantly rip off stuff, you know, but
Right.
at the end of the day, it's like we only have so many options, and we got to make that story interesting and different and a little bit more our own, so it is separate from like Aquaman versus Namor or Darkseid versus Thanos and things like that. So it's like I like the street level heroes, you know. I like the ground and pound dudes like Batman, even though he's got a bunch of money. So like Phantom Hawk, he's a poor man's Batman with Captain America's powers and Punisher's cracked psyche. That's the Phantom Hawk. You know, he's seen
Yeah,
so much dang war that, you know. So it's like whatever. Nobody's really copying anybody. We're all just kind of making our own stuff.
Yeah, and you know, I don't know if Evan, is it a spoiler with your version of the Justice League?
No.
Okay. Yeah, Evan made some of those what do you want to call them? Those archetypes, right, Evan?
Yeah.
You want
You want me to talk about them?
You want to touch on it?
Okay.
Well, man,
Let's
we're
go.
getting dead air.
Let's go.
Evan, speak.
So yeah, the outed series, we've got Stellar Man, and he's kind of the leader of the Hero Society. And so I took a lot of inspiration from Astro City. I don't know if you guys have read that,
Yeah.
but man, that is fantastic. If you've never read that, I mean, if you want a great parallel to Marvel and DC storytelling, but it's like original concepts, it's fantastic. So I
Sovereign, right?
yeah,
Sovereign.
yep, I think that's him.
Yeah, it's the main
No, the
character.
Samaritan. The Samaritan.
Yeah, Samaritan. Yeah.
There you go. Samaritan. There you go.
Yeah, that's their Superman character. But yeah, so I try to do some of that, but I also wanted to go in a unique direction and not, just straight up do the Justice League. So I mean, we've got Iced Girl. You've got a I've got a Aqua guy, but it's called Amphibiman, and he can be in the water and out of the water, and he's got a suit that makes him look like a frog. And we've got
Super Mario Brothers.
we've
I dig it.
got a-
I'm already in.
Awesome. We've got a girl who she's just a fire person, but her name is Candelabra. I just like that name. We've got a girl who is actually a dragon. She's not a girl who turns into a dragon. She's a dragon who turns into a girl.
Ah, unique.
So I thought that was interesting. We've also got a guy who's he's on the team, but his power is he can't be recognized. Like if you can't recognize him. If you've seen him before, you wouldn't know it's him again. So
What's his name?
Oh, I think his name.
You sent me all of them, but
Yeah,
I can't remember all of them.
I haven't actually written these guys into a story.
That's how unrecognizable he is.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
No, because I haven't written these guys into a story yet.
Yeah, they kind of show up as like these judges to judge the new heroes and such, right?
Yes, but we haven't published that yet. So sorry, it's still in my brain. But so he wears his mask, and you can recognize him when he's got his mask on, right? So like, oh, it's that guy. But then if he takes it off, you can't recognize him, like even on security footage and stuff. So he's a good sneaky spy character. But yeah, I like characters with like weird, quirky powers like that, or like like Purple Man, who that's from Marvel, where he you have to obey anything he says, like that's his power, and it's like, wow, that's not earth-shattering power, but you could do a lot of damage with that. And yeah, so I like that sort of stuff.
Did a lot of damage in Jessica Jones.
Oh yeah.
That's great ideas, man. That sounds it's a different version of there you go. Is that them? Oh
no,
I'm going through some of our
I love that one.
Some of our
I got that print.
Group shots.
No, I haven't.
I don't have that yet.
I haven't illustrated them yet. I've only rendered them through AI, so I don't want to show those off because AI is a touchy subject. But it helped me get them in the ballpark of where I wanted them.
Yeah, don't make me angry, Evan.
I'm not gonna publish them. Just
trying to find a workaround.
No, it's a tool.
Workaround.
AI is a tool. That's how I feel about it. When people publish it and your character has like 9 fingers.
Yeah.
Well,
no, believe
I know
me,
a lot of the when I do like my newsletter, they have an AI option on my website, and when I'll write out basically what I'm talking about, let's say for my campaign, or let's just say for a new project coming out, and it'll take all that and it'll work it into a talk to the reader type AI structure, and it's like great. It's structured.
I've done that on the website.
Yeah,
I've done it on the website for descriptions of what the product is.
Yeah,
and they do a lot better. That machine did a lot better than I would have.
Right.
Yeah. And believe me, I've worked overtime trying to figure out a way to make a comic with AI so I don't have to pay more money, but it's just it's not there.
Evan, you're gonna have to pay, man. We always get our pound of flesh.
No, absolutely. it's so time consuming and imprecise, and it's just way easier and better to just pay somebody.
I also used AI to write. So in the back of the Starcross team up, Trashman and Starstruck, I wanted this scientific document on the study of Nephilim DNA. And I'm not a scientist. I don't write scientific papers, but I knew what I wanted to say, and I wrote it all out, but I wanted it structured like a scientific document that was like for publication for people
just
to
throw
read.
Quantum in the front of some words that are really
right.
Yeah, there you go.
So it structured it, and it looks like a scientific study done on the compatibility of Nephilim DNA in humans, and it gives.
Oh, that's why we got giants in the Bible, man.
Yeah, but I'm saying it structured it where it was actually a scientific document that, and I put that in the book, and it's based on what I wanted it to say, but it structured it in a way that I wasn't capable of knowing how to, because I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist.
So it sounded very medical.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's very legit. Like you would think this is real.
AI is what, like I said, is a tool. It's a very valuable tool. Because I've had backgrounds that I needed to create, and I just my brain was not using its fullest potential of imagination to figure out what this looks like. So I went into an AI art generator. I'm like, hey, I need the San Francisco shipyard, and I need the A-Team van in there, and I need this, and I need that, and it set it up. And I'm like, and I need it at like a worm's angle, a worm's eye view. Right. Oh, I love that one. And it generated it, and then I just redrew it. Not line for line. Yep. But I was like, okay, that's kind of what I was looking for.
Right.
I was able to use it as a template.
Right. Exactly.
People that are just writing prompts and then like, hey, I'm an artist too. I'm like, no, you're not. Get out of here. can't sit
yeah.
with us.
Yeah, I don't think the AI art. I mean, I messed around with it out of curiosity. I'm like, oh, what if I mix this with this? I'm like, that kind of doesn't look like what I asked for, because I was like, oh, what if you mix, Jack Kirby with, Vincent Van Gogh or something? I'm like, this just looks like all the other AI stuff. But and then I was like, okay, what if you do this with this? And I'm like, but it all eventually just all looks like AI art. It has that certain kind of painty look, and it gets things wrong. And
have you seen the AI movie trailers that have been made? Where
No,
they'll take like the Avengers and be like, all right, I want the Avengers movie trailer, but I want it set in the 1950s or the 1960s.
Oh,
It's actually really
those are
cool.
beautiful.
And I've seen that. I've seen a lot of those on TikTok. They're awesome.
Yeah.
Like Aliens, they made an Aliens one, but it was set in the 60s. Like it was like 60s level.
They did
special
one
effects and tech.
for Dune, except done, by Mobius, and like some other ones that I thought were like mind blowing. Like I was like, "Whoa, is this real?" That was early on when they first started doing it, and I didn't know that it was fake. I'm like, "Hold on, wait, what is this? This looks awesome." Or they did Tron or something like that, and I was just like, gorgeous. So yeah, those, but they're stills, right? They're just stills. They're like movie frames.
Yeah, but it's like
they make a move.
It's like forced motion. It's like a forced perspective.
Yeah.
It's some tricks. They're not actually moving, but do some things to it. Like they did one with like the event, or was it the Avengers? Well, they did both, Justice League and the Avengers, but it was set in like the 90s.
Oh,
so it had like Tom Cruise as Tony Stark. Denzel Washington as the Black Panther, and it was cool. Dolph Lundgren as Thor would have been my first choice.
Awesome. That's funny. That's funny. I'm gonna share the screen. Why can't I post this? Okay. Still trying to figure this out.
I'm a StreamYard master at this point. I'll help you. I'm gonna do a TED Talk on it.
Nice.
Are you?
No.
I keep forgetting.
I'll just bring you onto StreamYard and show you the tools. That's all.
Nice. I'll go back here. Okay. Bingo. Okay. Yeah. So, well, I just want to say that, I invited all you guys to Bib Pro, and, I'm honored you were allowing me to use your characters in the book, and lucky that Evan was able to, weave a story around them,
Does Phantom Hawk show up in more than one page? Because I want to see him like throw some knuckles.
Not an issue two.
You have a whole page that's just your guy.
I know,
and I don't want to be greedy, but I'm just saying, like,
they haven't
out of the fight.
They haven't gone into the fray yet, so that was when they first took notice.
He's
So
low key dumb. He'll jump right into the portal.
Yeah, third issue. Yeah. But from Evan's such a great writer, so, and James, such a great artist, Nick, such a great artist and world builder with all of his titles, and Raphael with his new,
and Brian's
his new
the artist on this, right?
Fast, what's that, Brian?
Brian's the artist on this.
Yeah,
Brian's the artist on this. Yep.
I really like how he did both my characters. I might have to
see him, right?
He's great, and I didn't mean to disparage. I didn't mean to disparage the hero dump concept.
For sure,
character dump concept, Joe. There's a time.
No, you're working with so many things. Though. Like I understand. Like I would not even attempt this type of venture.
You're right,
because just on the front, you got like 20-something characters that you're gonna have to deal with and give equal screen time. I'm very honored that I got a page, but like,
they're not even all there. Yeah, I mean that cover right there. That's not even everybody. That's not everybody shown.
I'm stoked to see Gungul up in there.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, yep.
There he is.
Well,
such
he's so hard. He is unconscious this entire issue.
Yeah,
he got knocked out this
in the head.
Yeah,
he got knocked out.
I tried to draw once, drove me nuts. I just couldn't get it down right.
He's not easy.
He's a really difficult character to draw. I've tried multiple times. I tried to do a Bengali Gungul team up.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
and halfway, it would have been cool had I actually got it done right. But like
Nice.
halfway through, it's like, yeah, Bengali I nailed because that's my guy.
Yeah.
But Gungul, I was like, oh, that doesn't seem like something. That's not a pose it seems like he would be in.
Right.
It's
No,
driving
I
me
can
nuts.
see it though.
They gotta be like this, something like that.
Just John Wick style. Maybe that's what I should do. I should just have a John Wick marathon and then try again.
Oh wow. Yeah, but I'd love to, spoil everything that's coming, but everybody gets their moment. They have different roles to play, and it's difficult to structure all that. But that's
Well,
why
I
had Evan
backed
do
it, and I guess I missed
So did I.
issue 1. So
I got both now.
I'm excited about those.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, but yeah, your scene is epic page.
I know,
there,
man. It's
Nick,
a whole page, Nick. What the-
Yeah,
I know.
and then a lot of the
Like I
other
said,
guys
I don't
are
want to be
just getting it
greedy.
too.
I'm just like
Yeah.
like I said, I'm honored, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
kind of thought it'd be cool in the bar too. Like
I saw
they're off
trading right
camera.
now.
We're in the
They're
back
not
part of
there
the bar.
yet. That's why they're not there. Yeah. Luckily,
okay.
They're
they're
coming.
not there because we would have had to try and fit them in.
They're
I can see
coming.
Phantom Hawk and Bengali in the back because Bengali's gonna have to like rearrange his mask so he can have a drink.
Oh, that's funny.
And then Phantom Hawk would just be like, "Man, what a bunch of weirdos!"
Yeah. Black Blossom.
Because he's the skeptic. He's the skeptic. He's
Yeah.
even though his origin stories of like just crazy origin, it's like, okay, well, they put nanites in me that made me able to replicate skin cell and stem cells and be basically immortal. But now they're trying to kill me because I was wearing them too long.
Yeah.
And then you have Bengali, who was part of the old world before the old universe before the Big Bang.
Mhm.
So he's seen a lot of stuff. The host hasn't. Bengali, the mask,
The mask. Yeah.
the actual deity in the mask has seen just about everything.
Okay.
He's been there since creation. And then the guy inside of him is like, I don't know what the hell's going on. He's like, shut up and drink your drink. Because they talk to each other like Venom and Eddie.
Oh yeah. Evan, what did you say, Evan?
Oh, I was gonna say Black Blossom's in this one, but she only gets a page,
A page.
and she's only in her costume for a panel. And then she's not showing up again until number 3.
How long is each issue?
22 to 24 pages.
Yeah.
Okay,
Except
and you're
for-
doing a 4-issue arc?
Yes, but number 4 is like a 48-page giant.
Nice.
Oh, okay. I was
It's
going
gonna
to
be
say, man,
awesome.
you don't have a whole lot of space,
Feel like
man.
a lot of characters on the page fighting. It's gonna be crazy to be like
That's gonna be
Oh.
epic, man. That's gonna be epic.
girls.
Yeah, I had to have like a spreadsheet to tell me which characters were where.
Oh, that's how you did it.
And how many were over here, so I could tell Brian what to draw.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was nuts. It's funny because originally, Biblical Proportions was actually my original title for my book, but I kind of put it on the back burner, so it was always there. And then when I wanted to do like this, because back in the old days, I used to draw with all my friends, and we would world build and everything like that. So I was like, I want to have a title where it's a bunch of the characters all in some big epic, big like Infinity War type deal. And I said,
title that
Biblical
you have,
Proportions would be good because it's an event of biblical proportions. I'm like, I'm gonna bring that old title back that I used way back, like in high school days. And then I had Vince White did the logo. And then I started getting it rolling. And then it just kept snowballing when I met more and more creators that I wanted to work with and get their characters in. But yeah, I mean, this is just like a tribute to all you guys and your characters and, the books you guys do. And it's kind of like a showcase, like, hey, I definitely support all these creators, all these characters, and you guys should check them out. I put ads in there saying like, hey, go to this website to get more books from Apogee Comics, or, go check out this title, or, if you want to see more of this character, go here, because, I want people to, know where to find more about these characters that are just featured in this big giant story. So there's only, one page of this character. You want to see more, go buy the books on this site,
Nice.
All right, guys, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. But yeah, anybody watching the stream, go to Indiegogo. I'll post the link. Go support the project because you're supporting, all these creators. And allow us to finish the story, this issue 3 and 4, and help get more attention to all these creators that I was lucky enough to be able to work in this story and put on Evan's shoulders to write. But I did color it. I colored it. No, Evan. Actually, little known fact. Evan did a lot of the colors as well, kind of like the assists or the finishes, or I'd have flats and then he would finish it, do the highlights and the shadows, or vice versa. And so he kind of saw I was getting overwhelmed with it, so he started helping with the colors too. So Evan does do pretty good colors as well. People don't know that.
I'm just not a fan of doing it. I'll do it. It's the flatting. It's the flatting that gets me. I like doing the
I hire a dude.
Yeah, you're flatter.
I hire flatters. I'll hire the
colorist.
Colorist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I learned how to do letters, and I'll do pencils and inks. That's my bread and butter right there. That's what I know how to do.
People don't realize lettering is not easy either. That's a skill set. That's there's a structure to doing good lettering.
There is. One of the things that I learned, and I was like, man, I can't believe I didn't think of this before. As the artist, and it also changed doing lettering, how I drew panels. It's like, okay, well, I got this panel and I got these characters going on here. Where the hell am I going to put the thought balloons or the word balloons? Where's the captions going? Now I had to think about that stuff.
Yeah.
So it kind of it helped me in both arenas. It's like, okay, when I draw this, I don't need to draw this background here because I know there's going to be a word balloon there, so I don't have to worry about that. So that saves me time. And then I'm like, all right, cool. Now when I'm like letter other people's stuff, I'm like, is the artist not aware that I have to put words in here? Like, what's going on?
Yep.
Now I got to make this word balloon that stretches from one side all the way to the other and do like a little loop-de-loop, and it looks dumb.
Yeah, where the artist will draw the guy's head like right here in the box, and you're like, he needs to say like 20 words in that box, and then it's like where you gotta like put it like it's his beard. It's like a word bubble beard that he's talking.
He's got the tail going up to his nose to the word balloon.
Exactly.
Like, is he talking out of his nose? That looks weird.
Yeah. That's hilarious. All right. Well, I'm gonna end it. Let you guys get back to it. But yeah, everybody go check out Biblical Proportions #2 on Indiegogo. I'll post the link to the campaign. It's going to be going for 30 days. Roughly like July 5th, something like that. Yeah. July 5th. Yeah. What's going to be interesting is if I do any videos. We're on vacation up in Upper Michigan, so it's going to be like no internet. It's going to be in like this farmhouse, and I'm going to be trying to be on my phone and doing like a live, like
That's why you need Starlink campaign. Like me, bro.
Starlink.
You need Starlink because I live up in the hills.
Yeah, okay.
To San Diego, so the only internet provider I could get was HughesNet, which was horrible. It lasted 2 weeks, and I was like, it's so darn slow. So I'm like, Starlink's expensive, but I hear it's worth it. So I dropped the money down. I got Starlink. And not only can I, like, if I decide to go camping, I can take the antenna with me and still have internet.
Wow. That's cool.
And it's like fiber. It's like fiber speed. It's
nice.
Like ridiculously fast. Wow. And it's cheaper than when I was paying with like Cox Communications.
Huh.
So it's I'm not going to lie. It's a little hit to the budget at first, but it's worth it.
Wow.
And then you don't have to worry about anything else.
Oh, that's crazy.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for being here. We'll have to do this again real soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you, James. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Evan. Thank you, Raphael. I'll talk to you guys soon. And everybody check out the campaign and support all these awesome creators.
Thanks, guys.
Later, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Adios.
Later.
Later.